quick story. We were training at one of your organizations. I shall not name them. But this guy is a brilliant engineer. He's young. This is what his story was. When he started at the organization, where he used to go and drink with his friends was at the local pub, where a beer is how much? The local pub is like how much? 200, like that. Good. See, he got a promotion. And what did he say? Now the beers where I used to drink don't taste as good. So where does he come now? See, to around Westlands, right? So when he was in our class, he came back and he testified to this because he had a problem. He said, Waithaka, I went home and I tracked my expenses. What did I discover? I'm spending over 80,000 shillings a month on alcohol, and I am not an alcoholic. So when he went through it, he began to realize, I'm the one who bought that bottle at the table. The guys who were unable to pay that day, who was the one paying? So he's earning now probably close to 10 times what he started with, but he still has the same financial issues. So it's not just about budgeting. It's mindset. We have to keep that in mind. Empowered employees means stronger teams because they're working better together and they're thinking about the issues that they're facing as an organization. Are we facing quiet quitting here as well? You know what it's like? People just show up. Minimum. Because their minds are elsewhere. And finally, it improves overall mental health and well-being from a couple of studies that we've gone through. So I want us to think about it this way. If you're thinking about the retention and loyalty issues, employees stay where they feel supported. It's a fact. And I've seen it in organizations where people are willing to say, you know what? These guys pay well, but I can't handle the stress. These guys pay well, but now mental health is becoming more important for them. And as we talk about it, I want you to think deeply around it. Financial education creates emotional engagement as well, because there's a sense that you see, when you come for a financial literacy talk, it's not about the organization, it's about me. And that's those are the areas that you want to pay attention to. Shows that the company cares beyond that compensation issue that we were discussing earlier on. So this is for your sake. Financial literacy also for your team reduces your pressure. It does, because fewer salary advance requests and crisis interventions that we're facing, and we've seen it over and over again. When we come and do our financial literacy training, one of the areas that we focus on is debt, because people borrow a lot. Listen, it is employees who are the ones who are borrowing the most. Let's just be clear, because banks don't like entrepreneurs. We just be clear. Banks love employees. Why? Because you guys sign documents saying this person is our employee and we shall be paying them the whole year. So we know you will even deduct at source. So, huge benefit. You get like a which one? Fielder? Ati Subaru? No, please. Subaru, you are talking about a 2001. Here we are talking Toyota Auris, the hatchback, Mazda Axela, the hatchback, that kind of car. So you still look like an Uber driver. You know, they don't. No, listen. I am speaking from experience. There are certain cars that you drive to the gate and then the guard comes and says, una pick, ama una drop. You know those cars? I've driven. No, listen, I've done it. And then by the grace of God now, the car that I'm driving, in fact, I get surprised now. Kwani utaki kukagua kidogo, at least look. So it's not about denial. And that's the thing that many times people think about as far as finance is concerned. It's about control. And so when we're dealing with our training, we always come from that perspective of how can we build the control? How can we build the control that is going to give us the direction that we want? So employees often don't understand company benefits. Financial education increases uptake of pension, insurance, and the rest. Guys don't know the truth about insurance. You see, you don't feel it until something has happened. Right? With all this rain, I thank God we took personal cover for our home up country. Because with the rain, Did it not happen with, so there was construction of a road near our place. This, just last week, the farmhand calls and says, guess what? The wall has fallen. The entire perimeter wall along the where the construction had happened collapsed. Now, when they did the first estimate, they're saying when you hear 1 point something million, you're just like, where are we getting it from? But having that insurance benefit gets you along the way.
I'll be taking you through a presentation on building a corporate culture that champions performance. Is that good enough? How are we doing on first quarter, my HR colleagues? Did we achieve the targets? Yeah? Did we achieve? Are we almost there? Do not worry. That's the discussion you're going to be having for the next 20 minutes. I will take you through employee engagement, what it is. Employee happiness will not give you the business outcomes that you want. It's not the reason you started that business. It will not give you profitability. It will not give you customer satisfaction. It will not give you less errors. What is employee engagement? It's the heart and mind connection of the employee and their commitment to the business achieving its goals. Okay? It is the discretionary effort. This is what we are calling discretionary effort that the employee has when they are doing their job. Something as HR you cannot police. I know we like policing. You cannot policy it. You cannot write it in policy. That please next time you go and do that painting, make sure you remove the branch, okay? Because you'll write a lot of policies. It's when the employee is engaging, and especially for those in manufacturing where we are working 24 hours a day. That discretionary effort that the employee takes and goes over and above to deliver is what we call employee engagement. Who's thinking you're about in that organization? Let's have that discussion. In every organization, including where you work, where you're the CEO, where you're doing everything, there are 3 kinds of employee. Ata sahi. Even you as an employee, you'll either be an engaged employee, not engaged, or actively disengaged. At any one point in your organization, they fall in those categories. Now think of a boat. The engaged employees on this side, they are working with great effort. These are the people, once you did that strategy of yours in Naivasha for 2 days, you came and said you're having a 20% profit, and as you in your exco came, now you came and presented it to employees. These are the 20%, these people who are engaged are the ones who said, yes, we can do it. Let's go ahead. They even bring innovation and start giving ideas on how the strategy will be met. Then we have another group of not engaged. They are in this boat of yours, but they're just there. Clearly doing 8 to 5. Mukitaka kufanya what? Mukijisikia mufunge, hiyo ni shauri yenu. Mukijisikia kuendelea, it is your own problem. If you feel, just meet payroll. Just make sure that I'm able to do. They are there. They're enjoying the view. But they are not bad people because they deliver just barely. Those people who achieve objectives, they are there. Now we have another group of people. They are called actively disengaged. Again, this is information you can Google. Actively disengaged are actually trying to sink the boat. The minute you presented that strategy, that lunchtime with their toothpick, that's the discussion that was there. A lot of nonsense that we have been told. Ata sidhani, ata ya last year hatukupata, so I don't even know why they are adding these numbers on sales. We are not going to be able to do it. Now, the most amazing thing I want you to note about actively disengaged employees is they are also HR people. I'm not saying they do HR work, but they're actively recruiting others to be as disengaged as they are. So it is a human need that every 7 days, you have to be appreciated. Every 7 days, you have to be told you're doing well. HR, is that our role or the role of the manager? You see where training is going now. You have a whole training on recognition because they'll say add more salary. I told you even if you added, they will not be happy. So long as, even if you paid them, they will still not be happy if you're not meeting these needs. So you see, in the last 7 days, I've received recognition or praise for good work that I have done. Nobody gets paid enough to come to work. Hakuna mtu alikuja Nairobi kukuwa bullied. Hakuna mtu alikuja Nairobi to be harassed. Sindio? It's important that you check. You do that check that employees are not being bullied and that they are being treated with respect. Even if the answer in your PAL survey is 1 employee, it is 1 too many. It is 1 too many. We do not pay. If there is ever an answer that you ask employees, I'm not being treated with respect, please address it. Let's recap. I sat down and I said, those are a lot of things. I'd been told, usually a good trainer, you should just give 3 points. So I said, how can we remember? How can my people remember this? And I came up with the word staff to remember the few points that I've given. Point number S starts for set clear objectives. This is mine, by the way. You won't even find it in if you do Google Chat GPT. I call Mimi, I'm the one who created. So feel free to go and use it, but I'm the one who created it. So S stands for set clear objectives. It also stands for safety for employees, both physical and mental. T stands for provide training. Do not assign somebody a job that you have not trained them for or they have not received training for. Again, if you're in manufacturing like me, huyo mtu atajiua. Atajikata mkono ama ata electrocute themselves. So do not assign somebody work that they've not been trained for. Make sure you are developing them and that they are growing. Make sure you provide them the tools. A salesperson, they need a car, they need mobile airtime. For you to ensure that they remain engaged, make sure you give them the tools. Appreciation and recognition. Tumesema every 7 days, find a way to recognize your employees. Next, when you assign somebody work, ask your line managers to follow up. Upatiwi kazi unaendelea. Kwanza, let me tell you, Gen Z, you cannot give them work that is useless. That's one thing I like about this generation coming to the workplace. Hawafanyangi useless work. My generation could. I mean, we feared. I think we're how many years from colonization? Maybe 50. We would still do work that doesn't make sense, not Gen Z. They will still come and ask you, that presentation that I did, how was it? How is it affecting the bigger picture? If it is not, my friend, they are not doing it. So make sure you follow up and you give feedback and the necessary support. And last but not least, ensure you have feedback and respect in the workplace. All right? Friendship. No, yeah, sorry. You have friendship and feedback. You have friendship and respect in the workplace.
There are some companies you worked at where you imagine the boss has called you to his office and you just wonder now, what does he want? That situation, that stress, that's what we are discussing. As HR professionals, you've had, I'm sure, random situations. If we were to ask you, what are some of the complaints you've received? There must be so many. Yeah? Number one, this guy always interrupts me in meetings. Yeah? And I think he has some beef with me. Can you address it? Now, as HR, you're wondering now, where do we start? Do I call? Yeah? Number two, you have a colleague like Nick who walks into the office and the secretary at the front door is like, "Hi, baby boy." Yeah? Baby boy, umekula. Yeah? Baby boy, kuja ukae hapa na mimi. And now Nick comes to you and he complains, "I am tired of being called baby boy." And you even ask him, what's wrong with that? So do you know how many people are looking for someone to call them baby boy? Yeah? So it sounds like appreciation, isn't it? Yeah? Good. Another example, you have a colleague who joins the organization and all of you, she just walks in and you say, "Hey, huyo ni slay queen." Yeah? Huyo ni slay queen. It goes into a meeting. Slay queen kwani ako wapi? Amechelewa. It goes into a WhatsApp group. It becomes, slay queen usimuite hii mkutano. Unajua hajuangi vitu zingine. Yeah? Now, is that appropriate behavior? Is it appropriate language? Yet we laugh it off. We think that it's okay. It's how Kenyans are, isn't it? In fact, it's a term of endearment. It means we are always thinking about you. Yeah? But the situation gets tricky when now it has come to HR and you need to investigate it. You need to find out why it's happening and you need to get it out of the organization. And that's when you call Nick and Nick has all doom and gloom. So that's what I'll be taking you through. Now, what is psychosocial safety? It is simply protecting an employee's psychological and emotional well-being. Now, as Beatrice has told us, that is where productivity comes from. Yeah? That if I feel safe at the workplace, I will do what is required of me. And that's where, from a legal perspective, it is literally protecting someone's emotional space. Now, this includes many things. We've heard about bullying. Yeah? Bullying, I'll give you another example. Bullying can be very subtle. Yeah? I can walk through this door and I'm looking for Nick in legal, and I say, can you call that short guy in legal? Yeah? Or can you call for me that bald guy in finance? Yeah? And people, it becomes part of your life. And that is bullying. Harassment is also included. Any unwanted behavior, anything that I don't want my colleague to be doing to me at the workplace, that's harassment. Inappropriate behavior, that is where it gets a bit more interesting. So number one, anything sexual in the workplace, automatically out. Yeah? Anything that is a stereotype. Anything that is a stereotype. Accountants are usually stingy. Yeah? Accountants are usually stingy. Watu wa HR wako aje? Wako sawa. Watu wa HR wata snitch. Si ndio? Yeah? All of that. Any stereotypes you have, that is inappropriate. Teasing each other, that is inappropriate. Anything exclusionary. Yeah? So that we say, you know, baby boy, we don't want to stress him. Let's not invite him for that meeting. Unajua mtu wa legal ataharibu mkutano. Sindio? Anything exclusionary is not permitted. So that is the point. Now, like I've said, the key takeaway is the impact on the organization. Yeah? Anything that makes the workplace hard. And I will tell you this, for example, even for situations where you're outside the office. Yeah? Let's assume we've gone for a team building somewhere. We're a team of 50 people. And after that, we decide that HR has sponsored drinks so that we can all be best friends at work, isn't it? Yeah? They are sponsoring drinks. And we decide in our best friend, we will hug. We will carry each other. We will call each other babe. And who's office boyfriend. Yeah? And at the end of all this, when we come back to work, Nick is now uncomfortable because no one said they want to, yeah. Or no one wants Nick as their office boyfriend. And now he sits in the corner, he doesn't even want to do anything. Yeah? So you can see, even that conduct, which was in Naivasha, has an impact on the workplace. And so it qualifies as something to be taken care of. You need to have reporting mechanisms. Yeah? Now, finding out by a sticky note is not ideal in any way. Yeah? You need to have a way to report. Can I come to HR? Is there an email address I can send something to? Do we have an anonymous whistleblower, system of some sort? So that if I see something and someone is afraid to report, I know what to do. Yeah? Number 4, you need to have policies. Now, Beatrice mentioned you can't policy everything, but there are some things that you must. Yeah? There are some things that you must. Actually, the law requires, if you're an organization of 20 or more, you should have a sexual harassment policy with a clear definition, clear reporting lines, and whatever punishment will come as a result of being found guilty of that. As a company, as custodians of HR, you do have an obligation, a moral obligation and a legal obligation to look into these things, to solve them, to try and correct such behaviors. And if you see there are employees who are not, who are not complying, who you have given enough chances, who you have supported, you must take that decision to terminate. And in the end, yes, you're sending this person to poverty, like it was said, but amechangia, sindio? So yeah, so that's it for the legal. Thank you very much.
I wish I had met you when I started Centonomy. Because the thing is, when you start a business, you don't know about the Employee Act, you don't know how to manage people, and you think just because you've come from a job, it equips you to manage a business. and my learning, I was thrown in the deep end. Because when you're working with people in an organization where you're employed, it is so different when now people are actually looking up to you. So today, I know Waithaka has talked a lot about money, but I was told to wrap this up, and I'm just going to have a conversation with you about financial wellness and what it means. And I'm not going to go through the calculations he did because he already did that. If you want more, Centonomy has so much to offer. And then I was thinking about this. First of all, you guys have a hard job. Yeah? Let's just talk about money. People are coming to you with their money issues, but you're also going through your own issues. You see, also, it's not that you own a bank as well as people are coming. So what do you feel when people are coming to you to talk about money issues or to ask you for advances, but you're also going through stuff? And I think sometimes, and I've felt this all my life, especially in the entrepreneurship journey, sometimes people stop treating you as a human being. They come to you, they want answers, they think you are a miracle worker. That's for Jesus, yeah? That's for God, yeah? So what do you feel? You're going through you're human. What do you feel? Go through the positive things in your life. What was normalized for me? And maybe that's where some of the things I need to do around money come from. But some of you will sit here and say, I'm going to be the first in my generation to start a normal pattern. What is that normal pattern going to be? And this, when we go to financial wellness, yeah, we think, like now if I say, what would you think a financially well person walks in here? How do they look like? What are they supposed to look like? You know, it takes so much to fail and get up again. And I have had my moments of, I don't want to get out of bed in the morning. And sometimes I've given in to the feeling and I don't get out of bed in the morning. At some point, God wakes you up and says, okay, let's keep moving. So it is the keep moving and what is shown and exemplified in the keep moving that we have to celebrate. Yeah, so we have to say, oh, you failed. You were conned. You took a debt you shouldn't have. Aha! Welcome to the club. Yeah, now you're a member. Yeah? Because it is in only that the true gems of lessons actually come out. So nobody is achieving that smooth sailing up and up and up and up. And in business, I learned that there's one thing I have against certain corporate culture is profits have to go up every year. Now, when you get into business, you're like, how unrealistic is that? Profits don't go. They simply don't go up every year. Imagine they don't, yeah? And so I can imagine the people who are in charge of sales and whatever, and you have to keep it. They just don't, because you're dealing with humans who don't make the same choices every year. Yeah, so they don't go up every year. Yeah, saying no is normal, because a lot of times we're not financially well because we can't utter the words no. Let's talk about black tax. So many of our issues here, the people coming to you behind the scenes is a serious black tax. Yeah. And I'm not saying let's leave our elderly mom and dad, etc., and say, sorry, you're sick, bye. Yeah. But we've got to have boundaries, especially with certain people, because this black tax becomes you're the one working, so you're going to take care of everybody else. Yeah. Instead of saying, okay, you for 3 months, I'll help you, but after that, best you get a job. Yeah. Or this is the limit. Beyond this, it's going to be 10 G's a month if you have decided to. But we've got to normalize for us, because when we don't say no, let me tell you what we are doing. We are setting up our kids. I'm glad you're here. We want you here. We want to motivate you. We'll pay you as well as you can. But if you can also find extra money or invest in a way that makes you extra money, you do you. But you do you. And I think if there's a change in the workplace that has to happen is that. If you don't want to lose good people, you've got to do that. Yeah? Because people then get frustrated and then they come, if they don't care how the company is doing, I want an increase. You're like, huh? From where? Yeah? So let's not constrain people by a salary. And even to everybody here, your salary that you're earning from your workplace is not representative of your financial potential. It is only a part. So I want you to start asking, what can I do? So at Centonomy, we teach something called, one of our game changers in the class is non-financial assets. What can you do? Can you cook? Are you a listener? Are you creative? Can you do photography? Can you write? Do you farm? Some people are just sitting here with plots of land, fertile land, in shags that you're doing nothing with. What can you do? Because the whole thing about playing to win is setting your mind to win. So saying, yes, I earn 100K today. From that 100K, I can save 20K, for example. I've done the calculation of my goals, and in 3 years, I will require to earn 300,000 shillings. Now, great. So at work, perform. So we have to normalize. When you want a goal, give value first. So in your workplace, don't just sit there doing the same job you've been doing and then expect next year you're going to earn 150K. That's why even from an employers, we get very frustrated by that, yeah? What is your value, yeah? And I think someone said it today, and they said, and show the value first. Don't say, when you pay me 150K is when I'll start showing you how talented I am, yeah? No, show the value first, then people will see it, people will recognize they need you, and they will be like, anyway, we need to come to a better arrangement financially for this person. And that's life, yeah? So a part of it is about us showing up better. So even those non-financial assets, if you're creative, how are you using it at work? Are you bringing your best to the table before you ask for a salary increase? So I'm giving you some poyos to throw back at guys, eh? Yeah, when they come to you with never ending, I'm like, what? You ask them, what have you done to show that the company should pay you more? No, the company did very well and paid other people bonuses. No, it's not about other people. What have you displayed? And I think we've got to have that momentum. And that's actually what we call entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not about owning a business. But I think where we all have to go is to become entrepreneurs, even within organizations. Are you a problem solver? Are you putting value on the table? Have you understood where this company is going? Are you clear what your part in growing the company is? And are you showing up? Are you saying, no, my job is accountant. So when there's a new project, you're like, that's for the business development guys. Yeah? You don't say, hey, by the way, I'm quite a good, I'm an analytical person. Can I chip in into that project? That's how you get seen.